And you're damn right. As you always are. I think. Sometimes. Sometimes. You're not the customer, though. Because if you were, Dustin, what would they be doing?
I assume they'd be shopping.
Paying us.
Oh, I see where you're going with that.
So since you guys aren't the customer, you're not.
They're definitely not paying us.
Are you?
You got way too much gravel going on in that voice you just did.
Yeah.
I mean, that was literally like T.J. Miller meets.
Don't make me do it.
T.J. Miller meets Soundwave is what you just did. I don't know how, but that's exactly what you just did.
Hey, Soundwave acknowledges, you know?
Did you hear about T.J. Miller, by the way?
Did he do like... He did something. He did something bad.
He did. He called in a bomb threat. He was drunk. He was incredibly drunk and called in a bomb threat. I don't even know like where, but somewhere. Dude went to jail and he got out on like $100,000 bond or something.
Oh my God.
And I'm trying to figure out like where he was. It was like in the subway or something. I don't know.
Oh my God.
Anyway,
What's up with that? Didn't he leave Silicon Valley? I saw something where Thomas Middleditch was on like he was on like 60 Minutes or something, but it was like a relatively serious like it was with Charlie Rose or something. Or well, it could have been Charlie Rose because that dude had to hit the bricks. I don't know. The world's upside down, Dustin. I have no idea.
It is.
What anymore? All the
right.
all
People
the
are calling in bomb threats, and people are just like touching people. I don't know.
The B team is running the show now. All the A players can't keep their wieners in their pants.
It's true.
T.J. Miller, man. Well, anyway, speaking of that guy, I watched Big Hero 6. We did the Disney bracket last episode. Welcome to HooperCast or whatever, guys. I love that. I don't care anymore. This is great.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Format is for nerds.
For douchebags. So last episode we did the great and powerful Disney Pixar bracket, which I personally thought went very well.
Yeah, I thought it was good.
I thought that's one of those episodes that like that's like what we do, Dustin. We do that.
Yes.
We do deep analysis of these things.
Correct.
But it was like I said, it was like a big conversation you and I have never actually had on the show about all these films that lots of people have opinions on.
Yeah.
But anyway, after that, it was weird because I watched a few Pixar movies over the weekend after we did it. A couple of them were direct matchups, and one of them was Tangled and Big Hero 6. I watched them both.
Oh, snap.
Over the weekend. My son had wanted to watch Big Hero 6, then my daughter was begging me to watch Tangled after that, so...
Yeah,
we did it. We did a double feature. So I got a whole bunch of T.J. Miller over the weekend, and a lot of just reminded how much Baymax reminds me of the Hulkbuster.
Yeah, right.
And Tangled too. There were corners of Tangled that I hadn't really sat and paid attention to in a while, and just weird little parts of the movie that I forgot were there, and it was like a pleasant surprise, you know, like when she first gets out of the tower. And it's that main old, like, that's that same melody, but she's like, just touch the grass is green, just like I thought it'd be. And I was like, what's this verse? And I forgot it was there.
Yep.
It was nice. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I like both of those movies quite a bit.
Mm-hmm. Thought you were going to say more, so I was taking a big sip.
Oh, no.
Well, we got some stuff to talk about. We got some movies to discuss. On the HooperCast. By the way, if you were on SoundCloud, that was weird because my soft palate's getting in the way of my throat. We are on SoundCloud. If you are on SoundCloud right now listening to us, we have a YouTube page, HooperCast on YouTube. But if you're watching us on YouTube, we have SoundCloud. You can do them both or either. You can do one after the other. You can do... don't do neither, though. Don't do that. But do...
Yeah, no, you have to do one.
Any permutation of the parts that involve you.
You are required by law
tuning
to
into
do one of the two.
Yes, please. Please. Anyway, real quick thing I wanted to mention before we got into your review, Dustin. Since we've already spoken about this on the show, we're not going to talk at length about it. On the way back from San Diego to Houston, I watched that United Airlines has an app. There's no in-flight entertainment on the flight back, but there was on the same stretch of miles on the way there, but not on the way back. And I was like, oh God, okay, that's fine. And
That's weird.
But United has an app, so I opened the app on the plane, and then it's like, here's your choice of movies, and one of them was Justice League, and I was like,
oh,
okay, well, this is even cheaper than the $1 I was gonna pay. So
right.
And so I watched Justice League on the plane while my son slept next to me.
Okay.
And so I saw Justice League, and I just want to share brief thoughts with you about it.
Yeah,
real quick as a preamble, just because I half co-reviewed the film with you because I knew a lot of the general sentiment about the film, and I knew my attitudes towards the characters and all that. But so I've seen the film now. I'm just a quick mini review here. Just to sum it up, I'd give it 2 stars. I would say it didn't piss me off. I can't remember if that was your rating. I don't think we had the ratings yet.
Yeah, I don't think we did.
But my general thoughts about this is that I have faith in the scope and in the large universe that DC is capable of realizing.
Yeah.
But I don't care about a single one of these characters.
Yeah, it's really weird. I mean, you guys can obviously go back and listen to my review of Justice League, so I won't spend any time here talking about it. But just to hit a couple of those things now that I've distanced myself from the film and I haven't watched it again, is I completely agree. It's like, they have the potential to have a really cool, just as cool as the MCU, film universe on their hands. And they're just like fumbling the ball every chance they get. And you're right. It's like the characters aren't as endearing. They're not as charming. Yeah. And that's not necessarily due to, one's comedic and one's not comedic. It's the fact that these characters do nothing to present themselves in a manner which is admirable or heroic or anything. So you've got this murderer of a Batman. You've got the Flash that's like neurotic and socially awkward and doesn't make any sense. You've got Cyborg who has no character. You've got Wonder Woman who, admittedly, I do like. You've got Superman who probably is the bright spot of the film because they finally got that character. Yeah, got that character right. Yeah. But at the same time, there's so much baggage now that goes along with that version of the character that it just doesn't feel quite right.
Yeah.
And maybe it's that he was in so little of it, but yeah. And then there's Aquaman, who I completely forgot about until just now. So, the whole time I was planning on like ending with the little thing about Superman, and then I was like, oh wait, there's one more that I've completely forgot about. So yeah, I don't know. It's such a weird thing because if you pin me down, I would say I'm a DC guy, but I hate the whole rivalry thing because I don't think the comics industry even really sees that. Like I don't think Stan Lee was ever saw himself as a rival to DC. I think they were just kind of both doing what they did.
Yeah.
And so I don't really ascribe to the fact that there's like the two companies and you got to pick one. But if you pin me down, I would say I'm a DC guy, but that's just because I found myself, or when I was a kid, I found myself gravitating to those characters more.
Yeah.
So there's nostalgia and all that stuff too. So you're right. I feel like there's such a potential here that's just completely wasted. And so I would say it doesn't piss me off, but in that way it kind of does, but the movie itself doesn't. So it's really a weird feeling to even talk about Justice League.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like I enjoyed watching it while I was watching it. What I do buy is the universe.
Yeah. But
the problem with that is that's not saying that much because one, it's all just visual. It's like, okay, I buy that I'm living in a comic book world.
Yeah.
And it really was like the montage about fighting what's his face? Steppenwolf.
Steppenwolf.
I almost said Hammer Fist and 3 other bands.
Whatever. Wolf Mother.
Yeah, Wolf Mother.
White Stripes. I don't know.
Wolf Mother. There's a big thing where they're talking about, we fought Steppenwolf once before. It's oddly like the Lord of the Rings in a way. They're like, it's Sauron, the first, Battle of Middle Earth.
Right.
But there's a cool shot in there where there's a Green Lantern. The Green Lanterns are there. And I saw that and I was like, there's a Green Lantern that gets killed.
Yeah.
and he falls, and the ring immediately starts swiveling, comes off of him, flies up and flies away. And Steppenwolf just for a second is looking at it like, the hell is that?
Yeah.
And it flies away.
Right.
And I just thought like, that's the little sort of thing that I was like, oh, that was a cool thing. And there's like millions of little of those in the Marvel films where they don't have to explain it. It's just like, oh, that's exactly what would happen if a Green Lantern was killed. The ring goes and finds its next, owner.
Recruit. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And there's the lanterns flying up in the sky. And I thought like, and so that gave me hope like, oh, the lanterns, like, that's right. They've got another chance to make a crack at it. Or they will, I think. And, and so that battle made me believe this universe, like one sequence was like, oh, this can work. This can work. But the rest of the movie was like, but not like this. You guys gotta make me like these people. And I just didn't. I maintain that Ezra Miller is miscast.
110%.
He just is not right for the Flash.
No.
And he runs weird. And there's a couple of shots. There's like one shot in particular. He is so obviously on a green screen. I almost spit out my coffee. I couldn't believe that shot made it into a major motion picture.
Yep. So
it looks like he's running in place. He's not even like on like a cleverly hidden treadmill. He looks like he is running in place.
It's true. And the truth is like, as far as the casting goes, I feel like Henry Cavill and Gal Gadot are the only two that I feel like are decent,
well cast.
Are decently cast. And you know what, Jason Momoa, I don't mind that.
I thought he was fine because Aquaman's such a hokey character.
Yeah,
I don't mind if he's like
I don't either.
A strange islander, Alaskan fishman type of deal. That was fine with me.
It's not the comics version, but strangely, it still works. But like Ben Affleck's Batman, I don't like at all. I think I've been vocal enough about that. Ezra Miller.
I liked him in Batman v Superman.
Yeah.
I got all that. I understood that. And while he doesn't like murder anybody in this movie, his character doesn't progress. Because I qualified his performance in Batman v Superman. I said this is an okay starting point for this version of Batman. If you'd like to begin his arc as he completely has let go of his rules and he's lost himself through doing the job, that's not really true to character, but it's a good starting point if you want to get him back as like a redemption story. Yeah. Okay, maybe that's his arc. In this film, it's not like he is worse about the violence, but he's worse about like his outlook. Because the whole point of this film is them just thinking, all right, we got to bring back Superman. Because if we can't, we don't know what to do. It's like, that's not what the Justice League would do. The Justice League, and for someone like Batman to go, it's the only way we can use the God box, the mother box. What the
mother box?
Mother box? Okay. Mother. Yeah. He says mother so many times. Yeah. I understand now, mother. And they use the mother box to bring back Superman, and they're all just like it's so obvious, like, and I'm sure it's supposed to be, but if you're in like a meeting with these people, if this was like a meeting at your job and everyone said, I don't know, we have one idea and it's really crazy, I'd sit there and think, oh my God, we don't know what we're doing. And that's not the feeling I want at the table with the Justice League. I want to look around and go like, you guys have a plan. I feel safe.
Right, exactly. And so, but here, this is sort of my big resting point for that. And I know this is not necessarily Ben Affleck, it's the way the character is written. But there's a moment in there that felt so phony to me. They're in the sewers and they've just, attacked Steppenwolf and the parademons or whatever down in the sewers. And it's that whole sequence, that's in all the trailers where they're like, it's like flash time as he's running and the sword is falling and he like bounces it back to Diana and all that stuff. And so all this is going on and Bruce gets like beaten over and over by these parademons or whatever it is. I guess it's the parademons, or maybe it's Steppenwolf himself. I can't remember who Bruce is actually fighting.
He's fighting the parademons. He wasn't getting near Steppenwolf.
Okay, like, gotcha. Nope. Right. Okay. So he's fighting the parademons. He's getting his butt handed to him. Yeah. And he's like, he talks into the monitor or whatever, and he's like, Alfred, send in the Nightcrawler or whatever. Yeah. And he jumps into this, robotic spider tank thing, which is not Batman to me, first of all. No. But secondly, I'm like, so what you just told me is that Batman relies on his gadgets above his physical prowess.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, like, that's okay for a character like Tony Stark. And I feel like they took the Tony Stark like role and gave it to Batman here, but it's not a 1-to-1. You have to. Bruce could be the Tony Stark and assemble this team fine, but he is not a tech heavy, juggernaut. He's not going to have a robot, because bear in mind, he's making this in a cave.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Like in Iron Man 3, which I'm rewatching right now in preparation for Infinity War, they very clearly and very purposely established Iron Man is Iron Man without the suit. He's a smart, capable person. He knows his physical limitations, and he's already planned 6 ways to get out of something. He's smart, and you're right. There's not a direct correlation. It's like if they're going to have him rely so much on his toys, they have to set up to me that he's smart enough to operate with just his toys. But I don't know why he fought a space bug at the beginning of the film, so I don't know why he couldn't just punch him. Like, maybe people are sick of punchy things. I'd rather watch him, like, best a few of the space bugs with, like, Krav Maga or whatever the hell he does than to just shoot this giant hook gun at them and reel them in and then, stab them? I don't know. What do you do?
Right, I have no idea, but like, I always default back to Batman the animated series, and I say, like, how accurate is it to that? Because to me, that's the benchmark of Batman in media. And aside from the comics, this Batman the animated series is the Batman, and so if you look back on that series, his gadgets are smoke pellets, batarangs, ropes, bat cuffs. Like, it's very sparse. He doesn't create like a mecha suit that he gets in and pilots like, a Hulkbuster. He doesn't create, a giant robot spider that crawls around the sewers. He doesn't do that kind of stuff. And in fact, the only reason he has a Batmobile or a Batwing or anything like that is because of the Wayne Enterprises company and or his own, it's limited to his own mechanical skills, which, while great, I think the whole point of the Batman character is that he's trained his body to peak physical perfection for a human. And so to have him be bested by these bugs, okay, that's fine. But then to say, okay, now we're going to, use this giant mech suit, which is essentially what the giant spider is, it, to me, defeats the whole purpose of the character. Like, at that point, I feel like Batman would say to the team, something along the lines of, guys, I'm no good here. I'm going to get these people out. Or something like that, like something that Batman could physically do. And you might say, well, Batman's too prideful to say something like that. But I don't think so. I think the Kevin Conroy Batman would say that. Yeah. I think he would say, you know what, in a battle, you have people with strengths and weaknesses, and my strength right now against this alien menace is to get the people to safety.
Yeah, they did that in the cartoon. Like, I keyed in on that too whenever I would watch the Justice League cartoon, and it's like, oh, I wonder how Batman feels about, like, any of these people being able to take him out real easily. And and A, he has a plan already, as you see in Justice League Doom, but B, he always had this attitude of, like, everyone here could knock me out with probably one punch. Yeah. Like, he had this attitude not of like, oh, I'm not the strongest, and it wasn't like, oh, I'm the strongest. It was like, I'm not the strongest, and I'd be stupid to think that I was. Right. Like, it was a very confident, like, no, I'm not the strongest, but I'm not sensitive about it.
Right, but Batman's, yeah, exactly. But Batman's like confident in himself enough to be able to admit something like that, right? And to say, okay, you know what? I can't punch Darkseid and hurt him, but you know who can? Superman. So I'm going to clear the way for Superman to do his thing. Yeah. And like in a battle, that's what you do, and that's the strategy of it.
By the way, didn't we set up one movie ago that he has a suit that was specifically built to fight Superman? Where's that thing?
We don't know.
Let's just put that
no
on.
idea.
Fight Steppenwolf.
It's crazy, but like, and don't get me wrong, like Batman in the animated series and in Justice League, the animated series, he would he would like fly the Batwing or whatever and shoot missiles at things, and so he uses tech. Like, don't get me wrong, that's not what I'm saying, but like his tech to me is more militaristic than it is science fiction. I don't know if that makes sense. It's like, okay, this is just a tricked out plane.
It's heavy duty, like destroy stuff.
Right.
It's not like cool nanobot, weird,
weird thing that like equipment. Twists the whole like abdomen of it around so he's always upright. Yeah. Like, because I'm like, who built that? Like, for what purpose would Wayne Enterprises have built that?
Yeah.
And two, if Wayne Enterprises didn't build it, then you're telling me that Bruce and Alfred built it in the Batcave. And, like, while I can believe Tony Stark can build a rudimentary Iron Man suit in a cave, I can't believe that two men could build that in a cave.
Yeah, the sort of the whole... I mean, maybe it depends on the comic, but, like, Bruce Wayne is... I almost said Jenner.
A different character. Not the Batman anymore.
Bruce, well, neither individuals strike me as a cunning engineer,
right? Yeah.
God. But Bruce Wayne is not. He's not that way. He's not a gearhead. He's not an engineer. I don't even know like much about his real like background, except that he was a rich kid for a long time who just didn't do stuff, and then he's business savvy, so he's very smart and he's very capable physically. So really, his first strength is his body,
right? And
then the second, I mean, there's the mind, there's the detective mind, there's all that stuff, but that is totally separate from being a right-brained engineering kind of mind. Not that he isn't one, but Tony Stark is all engineering. Like even in Iron Man 3, I'm sorry to keep interrupting you.
No, you're good.
Even
you're good.
in Iron Man 3, when he's like doing all the investigating, like how'd Happy die, how'd the theater blow up, it was like, okay, a lot of that was first of all done by computer. It wasn't him like, even though there's some similar stuff that goes on. Actually, exactly the same kind of software happens in Arkham City, I think, where it just scans the whole room and does pointy things. But Tony Stark, I believe Batman obviously way more as a detective than Tony Stark. Stark, it's like, okay, you can detective a little bit, but you're mostly building cool things, and just don't stray too far from that, because then we're walking out of your character and into Batman's character.
Right. Well, so I always compare Batman to Sherlock Holmes. So so Holmes, don't get me wrong, like you put Holmes next to a vehicle and he'll be able to work on it.
Sure.
He'll be able to make things work. He'll be able to fix things
because academically he's probably read a manual at some point.
And maybe even he can like create things, but he's not an engineer, right? He's not first and foremost an engineer. And it's the same way with Bruce Wayne. I think Bruce Wayne is first and foremost a trained and skilled detective. So that means he knows chemistry. That means he knows, like the sciences. He's a great criminologist. Is that a word? I don't know how. I guess that's a word.
It is.
His brain is built that way. So if something happens to the Batmobile, I think he could take it home and fix it. But I don't know that he's building a Batmobile from scratch.
No. So there has to be like a reason for Wayne Enterprises to have all this tech. I mean, that's kind of what I was getting at. It was like,
exactly.
Anyway.
So again, that's not necessarily Ben Affleck's fault, but it doesn't help his case. So yeah, I don't know.
I didn't mean to take up all your time.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It really is.
Yeah, Justice League is a 2 stars for me. 2 out of 5 stars. It didn't piss me off, but that's really about it. Like I wouldn't watch. Like I enjoyed it while I was watching it, but I wouldn't want to watch it again. Like now that I've seen it in its entirety, it's like, okay, it's not like a train wreck. It's just not very impressive. It's not very interesting.
I feel like I'll buy it like when it's the day after Thanksgiving and the DVDs are still on sale for or the Blu-rays are still on sale for like $6, and I'll probably pick it up. But
this is one of those films, and I don't own any of these films anymore. I own like Man of Steel, and I think I sold it recently. But if I were to buy this film, it would be like 5 or 10 years from now, when the following films have hit their stride a little more. Yeah. And then I'd buy this film as a completist to then go, well, now I can justify all these story holes because later on they fix it. But that's the only. But right now, as it stands, like this film isn't worth owning, and it's not really worth seeing again. But I think it's worth seeing once.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is what I did. So if you're not on a plane, go to Redbox or the library and get Justice League and check it out. It's worth seeing. I mean, if you like comic book movies, then you're not going to hate it. Just, I mean, don't expect like, like the standing ovation. Right. It's below average for me.
Yep.
For what I mean, and not just below average for a comic book movie, but like this is the Justice League, and this is a superhero team up, and so the bar is raised, and the bar. I mean, even without Marvel setting the yardstick out there, the bar is raised, and it fell short of that, and they didn't do, and it's really because as we've said before, they didn't do the work of setting up more than half this team before this film, and so I don't care. It's a waste of J.K. Simmons. For sure. Anyway. We'll talk about J.K. Simmons in some later episode when I talk about Whiplash briefly, but right now, Dustin, I would like to hear for the next 20 minutes about Ready Player One. Okay. Because I almost saw this on Good Friday. I suddenly realized I had the day off, and then we ended up doing a bunch of other stuff to fill the day. But the time that I found out, I was like, "What am I going to do? My kids are all set with daycare. Like, what do I do?" And I was just going to go watch Ready Player One because Infinity War wasn't out yet. I couldn't, I can't. I was like, what would I see in theaters right now if I had the time? And it didn't work out, but it would have been my pick. So I'm curious what you thought.
Yeah, it sits at 74% as of this recording. Okay. Which it's been out for a few weeks, so it'll probably sit right there. Yeah. So not bad. Mm-hmm. That's certified fresh. Yeah. So for those of you who do not know, Ready Player One is the newest Steven Spielberg movie, which is based on a book by Ernest Cline. Ernest Cline also helped write the screenplay for the film, so you're getting something that's, if not accurate, at least author approved.
Sanctioned.
Yeah, exactly. Sort of like when, like Louis C.K. writes Holes or whatever, it's going to be different, but it's similar enough. The story revolves around a young man named Wade Watts, who lives in the future, and it's a future strangely not too dissimilar from ours, where people are obsessed with screens and the things that they can do on these screens. In this case, it's virtual reality screens. Pretty much everybody does everything on their headsets. So the book even explains they go to school in virtual reality. They shop virtual reality. They go to work in virtual reality. The movie doesn't get that far into the world building of it, but nevertheless, it does go out of its way to mention that everybody spends pretty much every spare moment they can online in this other world called the Oasis. The Oasis is, as they explain it, a place where you can go anywhere and do anything, but most importantly, you can be anyone. So it's a highly attractive proposition for people who are bored or tired of the life that they live. Which in this case is pretty much everybody, because the future's kind of sucky. And so Wade lives with his aunt and her string of loser boyfriends, and they live in what's called the stacks. So it's just a bunch of basically mobile home units stacked on top of each other. So there's overcrowding, there's all sorts of poverty issues. The future kind of sucks. So everybody spends every...
tank is.
I don't know. I don't want to know. No. Maybe if you're on the top, the poop goes down into the house below you, and their poop goes below them, and their poop goes below them, and it's just a train of poop. That's my theory. Or maybe you just poop in the Oasis. You don't poop in real life. You just see a bunch of people squatting like with their headsets on.
In the Oasis, plants just eat your poop, and they go, "Thank you."
Right, and then
Thanks for the
poop. 10 points. Wade Watts is played by Ty Sheridan. The film also stars Ben Mendelsohn, T.J. Miller, Simon Pegg, Mark Rylance, who's becoming a Spielberg staple.
Yeah, he is. He's in that guy's in everything.
He is.
The running gag, by the way, today is T.J. Miller. God.
I know, he just shows up everywhere.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, look. So here's what I'll say. The movie's almost split in two. I didn't even finish the summary. Where are my manners? You're in. I got distracted by the poop. You spend every moment on the Oasis. So the plot is that the creator of the Oasis, his name is Halliday, played by Mark Rylance, has left 3 hidden keys in the Oasis that if you complete certain objectives, solve the clues, you get the key. If you can get all 3 keys, then you get an Easter egg, which inside the Easter egg is full control of the Oasis and Halliday's fortune, which is valued at like $500 billion or something like that. Nevertheless, highly attractive proposition for everybody. So the race is on, and everybody's going to try to get this, including Ben Mendelsohn, who plays the villain here, the head of an evil organization called IOI that is out to get the Oasis so they can monetize it, make money off of it, make it an all-around worse experience for everybody for their own benefit. That's basically the plot here. Wade, like I said, played by Ty Sheridan, has to stop Ben Mendelsohn's character from, achieving his evil, dastardly goals. And Ben Mendelsohn's like twisting his mustache, like, I'm going to get the money, you see? And Mendelsohn, my name is Mendelsohn. And that's pretty much it. I mean, it's a fairly straightforward film. It's a lot of, it's like shades of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. It's like, if you make it to the end, then you get full control of my factory kind of deal. So along the way, Wade, or rather his online avatar, Parzival, meets up with a couple of other characters who will help him on his quest to find the keys. It's a very straightforward plot, but the film, like I was saying, is split into 2. You've got the part that takes place in the real world, and the part that takes place in the digital world. The digital world is all animated. I'm not sure if they did any mocap for this or if it's just straight, just animation. I'm not sure. But it seems like maybe about
mocap. So
I didn't either.
It was
right. That's kind of what I'm thinking too. Yeah. So yeah, you've got your CG film, you've got your live action film. Here's what I'll say: the live action film is far more entertaining. It is more honest. It has that Spielberg touch, which I love. And it just feels like a real actual movie. Everything else either feels like I'm watching a video game being played, or it feels like sensory overload. For example...
You know what some jackass is going to say?
What's that?
That's like the point, man. The Oasis isn't supposed to feel real. It's supposed to feel hollow because that's like what it would be,
Right, but... But the problem is, in the Oasis, if you die, like, there's this old trope, right? Like, I don't know. I can't think of an example, but there's this
The Matrix
like the Matrix, where it's like Inception. If you die in the program, you die in real life, kind of thing.
Inception did that too with the dreams.
Yeah, it's not the case here. You die in the game, you just respawn. The
stakes.
Yeah, the stakes don't feel high, except for the fact that if Parzival gets, let's say, 2 keys and dies, he loses the keys and has to get them again. Or whatever the case may be.
That does kind of suck.
Right, and if you do, then I mean, if you do die, then Ben Mendelsohn gets the keys, and that's not good for the world. But really, the stakes don't feel so high because Ben Mendelsohn's character is like, we're gonna monetize it. See, we're gonna make money off of it. See, we're gonna make it worse for everybody. See, but it's not like even if he said, I'm going to take it away from you, there's not enough in the film to explain to me why the Oasis is a good thing. And in fact, the message at the end seems to be that the Oasis is not a good thing. So I don't understand the problem here. Like, okay, the evil corporation gets it. That sucks, I guess. You got to pay to do it now, but
why would you want to do it?
Yeah, like you shouldn't do it.
Yeah.
So the stakes never feel that high to me, especially within the digital world. Now, within the real world, the stakes do feel high. The people can actually come to physical harm. They can actually be physically thrown into jail. It's not jail. It's essentially slave labor. You go into IOI has these like cubes. You go into the cube and then you put on a headset and you are doing manual labor, virtually, which I guess tires you out in the real world. I don't know. Anyway, the point is,
it's not that bad. It's just way better,
right?
Physically,
play a video game for the rest of your life.
Make this license plate with your mind.
Fine, sure, fine,
cool.
So there again, the stakes just don't feel very high to me. There's an extended sequence in the film, and I don't think this is spoilers. But if you don't want to hear this, just skip a couple minutes ahead. There's an extended sequence in the film that takes place within the film The Shining. This is, to me, extremely out of place. I understand it didn't happen in the book. Something different happened in the book. But Spielberg did this scene set within the film, The Shining, which, again, felt out of place. And the only reason I bring it up is because I think this is one of the problems I have with the movie is, who is this movie made for? Because if it's PG-13.
I heard about this.
If you're bringing kids into the film...
Yep.
Kids don't understand The Shining. They're going to be subject to an entire section of this film that they don't have any frame of reference for.
Not to mention, the sight of an elevator full of blood is not what you want children to see.
Correct. And there were kids in my screening, like little kids.
God. They're like screaming and crying.
Right. But it's not played as scary as it is in the actual film. It's like everything else. It's like, it's just watered down. It's like, oh, here's the Iron Giant, but he's kind of like, he's fighting in a battle. And I'm like, but kind of the Iron Giant's whole point in that film was that he didn't want to fight. Right. So like, I don't understand, like, it's like a watered down version of everything. And don't get me wrong, while it may be cool to see The Shining or it may be cool to see the Iron Giant, the fact is 30-45 minutes into the film, the kick you get out of seeing the Ninja Turtles next to, a Street Fighter character, it goes away. Yeah. Because you become desensitized to it, because you're like, oh look, it's the T-Rex from Jurassic Park, and there's King Kong, and there's the DeLorean, and then you're just like, but at the end of the day, like, okay, so what? Like, I could Google image search all three of those things and see images of them in rapid succession on my computer.
Right.
That doesn't do anything for me. So 30 minutes in, 45 minutes in, I think I became desensitized to it. So towards the end, when it's like this huge climactic battle and you've got the Iron Giant and Godzilla and all, and it's like, but I don't care. Like, this doesn't matter to me. Again, it's, who is this movie being made for? I think it's too loud and sensory overload for anybody who isn't a millennial. And I think that the millennials won't get half the references here. I know there are references I didn't get, and I'm a film buff and a nerd, and there are things that they were talking about, and I'm like, I'm gonna have to Google that later because, like, I don't get it. And then And then there's like references to Atari games that I know kids have no frame of reference for. I've played Atari a couple of times. So for me, you know, even it's just like this goes completely over my head. So what was the demographic? If it's the 18 to 25 demographic, they don't know this stuff. And so I just don't know who the movie was made for. I also find it hard to believe, and I think Red Letter Media mentioned this in their review of this, so if you're interested in that, you can check that out. But I don't believe that people are going to be in the future as obsessed with The Shining as they are right now, because I think Rich Evans said, because we right now are not obsessed with Casablanca. Like kids today aren't obsessed with Casablanca, so why would kids in 2050 care about The Shining? They wouldn't. And I know the point is like, well, but you know, like it's a world where everybody's obsessed with everything that Mark Rylance's character was obsessed with. And I'm like, yeah, I get it, but at the end of the day, at the end of the day, why The Shining? Like to me, to have all of these like movie references and video game references, and then just spend a huge chunk of it in just a movie reference is weird. Yeah. At the end of the day, would I recommend Ready Player One? I think it depends on your age, and I think it depends on your level of interest. And I guess that's true with any movie. But I think at its core, if you are over the age of say 40, I think you'll understand the references, but the movie's going to give you a headache. That the final battle in this film is not like a Lord of the Rings battle where you're interested in both sides and you want good to prevail, and you know you've got emotional ties to these things, but rather it's just explosions and lasers and Godzilla and monsters and robots and Sonic the Hedgehog and turtles, and it's like, but I don't get it. I don't understand. My brain can't comprehend all of these things all at once. And at the end of the day, it's cool to see, I guess, you know, Batgirl fight, like the Batgirl from Arkham City or Arkham Knight or whatever, fight a Ninja Turtle, but I'm like, but these aren't even characters in the film, so I'm not emotionally connected to them. And like they're just there so I can be like, oh, it's Batgirl, cool. And so I guess, you know, at the end of the day, if you're over 40, you're going to get a headache. If you're under 20, you're not going to understand any of these references. And if you're in between there, you're going to fall into one of those two camps. Like you're either going to be somebody who is a nerd and understands the references, or you're not. And you're either going to be somebody who can tolerate this level of sound and visual splendor, or you're not. And you know already if you can or cannot. And if you don't, go watch a trailer, see the battle scenes, and just go, yeah, what are my eyes supposed to be seeing here? And I think that to me is the big test. You know, if your film isn't shot in a way where you're like, oh, my eyes should be focused on this character at this time doing this thing, there's no point in making a movie. Again, would I recommend it? It depends on your level of interest and your age and your tolerance for a lot of things. The Steven Spielberg directed, I know Spielberg directed this whole thing, but I'm going to single out the Steven Spielberg directed live action sequences are far and away more entertaining than the Steven Spielberg directed, but probably he just supervised visual effects.
Directed
sequences.
By committee. Okay, here's what happened. Dustin's video fast-forwarded itself, and his video and audio cut itself short. So that is where his review of Ready Player One ends. That's, I guess, I don't want to say it's disappointing, but like it's you know, it's just, that's kind of what I gathered from the trailer. It seemed like you said, like sensory overload, and you know, I'm not really interested in that, except for, you know, like Redbox, like, okay, I'd like to be entertained, I'd like to watch, you know, this thing, but like as a film, and as like all, when you line up all the technical and storytelling and every other aspect that you'd like this film to achieve, it's not up there at all. All right, well, that was Ready Player One. Still in theaters, but definitely a matinee if you choose to go to the theaters. Then I think it's going to do it for us, Dustin, for this week on the HooperCast. So again, guys, SoundCloud and YouTube for the show. We'll see y'all next week, and the week after that, we'll be talking about Infinity War, Dustin. Oh yeah. All right. See you guys. Have a good one.